Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us here again at NCI Technologies for another one of our webinars. Today, we're joined by John from StorageCraft, who's going to be talking to us about the importance of backing up Office 365 and a little bit about the StorageCraft platform. Over to you, John.
I am John Brennan, the Chief Sales Engineer here and Technical Trainer in EMEA. And I'm hoping everyone can hear me at this stage. Today we're going to be talking about cloud backup. And if we actually go and look at the EULA, look at the service agreement for Office 365 itself, you can see that Microsoft themselves recommend that you regularly back up your content and your data that you store in the services or store using third-party apps or services, because Microsoft offering a fantastic service, but they are not liable for any disruption or loss that you may suffer as a result of any outages or any kind of occasional disruptions that may happen to their service. So they themselves, Microsoft themselves, are kind of suggesting that you're going to, if you have a problem, you need to be looking at using third-party apps and services to make sure that you are protected. So with, if you like, to meet the critical need for cloud-based protection, StorageCraft Cloud Backup for Office 365, it basically provides a flexible, simple solution for the protection, the management and recovery of Office 365 data. It's protected and encrypted and made available through an intuitive web-based interface that users can quickly recover a file or a folder or even a full user account and be able to bring that down and to be able to use it again in its original format. The licensing is fairly straightforward, and that's something that you can talk to my colleagues here in NCI regarding. It's a simple monthly subscription model, and it's a very reasonable, kind of reasonably priced, if you like, licensing on a monthly subscription model as well. So what's the coverage? StorageCraft Cloud Backup for Office 365 basically provides protection for Exchange email activities and Exchange data, which includes your mail, your contents, and your calendar with unlimited retention. OneDrive for business data, saved for multiple revisions, edits, and versions. SharePoint protection of SharePoint document libraries, and most recently added to our service, Teams information protection of team chats, conversations, documents shared through Microsoft Teams. A couple of really salient points about our offering that makes us slightly different to other offerings through StorageCraft Cloud Backup for Office 365. And the first is there is no retention policy on data in Cloud Backup. What does that actually mean? It means that if a user has been backed up, say for the past 2 years, and they leave the company today, in 5 years' time, if I need to do some investigation or recovery from that user's data, it is still there. Okay, even though you don't have to pay a monthly subscription from that user from the day you do not wish them backed up. So we do not delete any of the data up there. So there's no retention policy on the data in Cloud Backup. The other point I'd make is that there's no ceiling on the data quantity in a user account in Cloud Backup either. And what does that mean? Well, it means then that, it doesn't matter if it's over 50 gigs, or what the actual content quantity of that data is within the user account, we'll back it up anyway without any additional charge. So cloud backup, SaaS backup and restore challenges. So software as a service, the recovery challenges that you're going to face is that files may be deleted, and if they are, they're pretty much gone forever, especially if it goes outside of the Microsoft agreement. Getting that data back can be quite expensive. Microsoft themselves say, you've got 14 days by default, which can be increased to 30 days. When it goes beyond that, and you're still looking to get data back for whatever reason, you may have missed a deletion or something, or maybe a document that has been accidentally deleted, you will have some job getting that back if it goes beyond those terms. So data from the deleted items or recoverable items folder can be removed for good in case of malicious deletes as well. So don't forget, it could be somebody getting in there, being malicious and emptying out, if you like, the deleted items, recoverable items folder as well. SAS data can be lost by user error, deliberate deletion by disgruntled employee, for example, or unauthorized intrusions. So cloud backup and SaaS backup and restore solution, we have within our cloud backup a cloud-based solution to backup and recover SaaS data such as Office 365 and protects the data where SaaS solutions leave off. And as I said earlier, cloud backup protects Microsoft Office 365, Exchange, calendars and contacts. For some reason, you know, a lot of people seem to blow away their contacts for some reason in Office 365. And again, you know, you want to be able to restore all of those. OneDrive for business, SharePoint, public shared folders, and indeed Teams as well. So what are the features and benefits of cloud backup? Well, the first is a cloud-to-cloud backup. So you configure your backups of selected cloud-based data to happen every 8 hours and be stored in a Microsoft Azure or Amazon S3 data center. Security and availability. So rest assured that, you know, backed up data is safe and accessible 24/7. Data is transmitted and stored in an encrypted format and resides in secure Azure or Amazon S3 data centers. You've got one-stop management. So you set up, you monitor and manage all of the client accounts within the same portal. So there's no need to log in and out of each account, if you like. You can do a search. We have a very fast indexing system at the back end. So it means that for a given account, you can use advanced search and browse features to locate backed up files across all supported SaaS applications. And you have recovery. So with recovery, obviously in seconds, you can restore deleted users and recover files and folders in their native formats to their native location, or indeed you can send it to an administrator, etc. within the system. And then you have reporting, which you can review the automatic audit reports so you know that backups are occurring and they should, and as they should, and basically protecting the data that's critical to business continuity as well. So what are the usage scenarios? Well, recovering data after overwrites, deletions, sync issues, and other problems. Recovering data after virus infection and ransomware attacks. Archiving or transferring ownership of data. Accessing data when hosted services are down, supporting investigations and electronic discovery, e-discovery efforts, aiding in regulatory compliance by having archived data and adding value to your managed services as well. So what's the setup look like? Well, it's, you know, for the partner, it's very, very straightforward. He'll go into the Office 365 account and basically grant impersonation rights, especially to the discovery management admin role. He'll just add the StorageCraft backup user to the discovery management group, as you can see here. And all of these steps are itemized literally from 1 to 10 in our user guide. So it's very simple to set all of this up at the back end for Office 365. And then you will go in and do pretty much the same for SharePoint Site Collection Administrator as well. So you're just adding the manage administrators and making sure that you have, if you like, the authority to go and do the collection at the back end. As soon as that's completed, then you're just going into the Office 365 portal, the StorageCraft portal, if you like, and you're going to create a StorageCraft cloud backup account. So the customer accounts basically lets you link the cloud backup to specific Office 365 incidences. Each customer account can only be linked to, if you like, a single email address, and accounts are created from the partners portal. So linking your cloud backup with Office 365, and again, all you need to do is use the credentials that have the admin rights at the back end that you've previously set up. But again, all of this is, you know, it's documented in great detail as to how to achieve this. And again, you just add your Office 365 to the cloud backup, where you're going into accounts, customer account and services. You add your Office 365 as you do here, and then just make sure you're using that admin account that you have allocated the permissions to at the back end. We've added Teams as well. This is a recent addition. We didn't always have Teams, and that's been added to the Office 365 protected services as well. So any chats, conversations, etc. that happen in Teams, we're collecting all of those. There is a roadmap for the product as well. So we're using the word Phoenix because basically we're building the product again from the ground up. And this time it's going to be built into what's known as the Google Cloud Platform, GCP. And it's an entirely cloud-based solution in GCP with scalable and allows for more frequent and low-risk updates and enhancements. We're going to be leveraging a lot of what Google do. We're moving all of our cloud services up there eventually, but certainly with cloud backup, we have a very kind of imminent schedule as to when this is going to happen. Microservice-based design as well for faster delivery and rolling updates, which is more resilient and agile focused, and new technologies and APIs for full utilization of Microsoft's Graph API, for instance, completely new infrastructure and completely new UI and UX in one system. There's going to be a shift in the infrastructure as well. So currently we're just using AWS in Dublin, or you can use your own Azure account, though you would be liable for the storage required for that. So most partners are using our AWS in Dublin. As we move over to Google, we have in each region 3 zones, so basically 3 data centers under Google in each region. And that means that in the UK, when everyone leaves, I suppose, the European Union for good at the end of the year, we intend having all of this in place in the UK as well. And we have multiple other regions now with 3 zones in each as well, including, you know, Finland, Germany, in Switzerland, in Poland. We have future regions that we're going to be releasing as well with 3 zones in each as well. And it gives us great coverage across, you know, mainland Europe and the UK with regards to infrastructure to house all of customer data, especially when that data has to reside in locally in the country. So this is our roadmap for Phoenix. So basically, you know, we're going to be rolling on September 20th, our SharePoint internal demo, running as GCP native app and moving the data from Office 365 to GCS. And as you can see there, by the end of this month, we've already got September obviously done. By the end of this month, we'll be doing our SharePoint vertical beta with fully integrated with current cloud backup and GCP. And then into Q1, Q2 of next year, we'll be adding, if you like, additional connectors for SharePoint, etc. And as we build out that platform into the new GCP platform, we hope to be having, you know, release fully of the environment by the beginning of Q3, if not by the end of Q2 next year. So let me quickly as well give you a quick look at what that might look like. So this is the partner portal where you log in, and in here is where basically you would go into your MSP portal. You just sign in here. And once you're in here, you will be able to just drop into your cloud backup. So into here and into your cloud backup. We have other services here that we're not talking about today, but you could take a look at those at some later date. But certainly cloud backup is what we're looking at here. For each customer, an account is created by our reseller. NCI, for instance, may have a list of accounts here for customers that they would have. You would just pick an account then, and it would have all of the data relevant to that account in a kind of a dashboard view where you have your 32 seats here, for instance, in and protected users is 32. There is a differentiation between users and protected users. So with users, they're the amount of users in the actual account, but a customer may not want to back up all of those users for whatever reason, and you're only actually going to be charged for those users that you're backing up. So you can actually untick, if you like, those users that you do not wish to back up. You won't be charged for them and they won't be backed up. Here's my report. So I have all of my backups, all of the information regarding to pertinent backups. As I said, we back up every 8 hours. When we move over to our new GCP platform, that's actually going to increase. I can drill into my backups and I can see exactly right down to the individual user how things are going for each of the backups that are conducted within our cloud backup. There's an audit as well. So if anybody reads a mail, logs in and reads a mail, for instance, or does anything with regards to a restore or anything, everything is audited, everything is captured. With regards to anything that may happen, a search result, etc., literally anything at all. If you export data from the system, there's an audit for that. If you restore data for the system, there's an audit for that as well. The search function is quite advanced. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can actually go into each individual user, and we will have their email tree here, by the way, and you can actually just expand that if you're going looking for a specific mail, etc. So that's easily done as well. You have your advanced search, so you can actually perform a search here, say based on a word, and you can kind of filter that down. You can get a date range. You can have a snapshot date, for instance. You can, if you want to look at all the services, for instance, you may have more than Office 365. You may have Google G Suite that you're using here as well. You can drop down the type of document that you're looking for, or email or Teams message, etc. We'll just say an email for the moment. And then when it does that search, it'll do it really quickly. You can actually choose multiple mails if you wish here, for instance, and you can perform what's known as a bulk action. So that bulk action could be doing a restore, doing a restore of the matching query that you've just created, exporting selected items, or export all matching query, for instance. So once you do that, you can actually go and send those to the users, or you can send them to the actual administrator. Here's where the auditing comes in as well. So I can actually view a file from here, for instance, or I can restore. And again, the restore is like the bulk action. I can do a restore here and it'll again restore to the provider, the administrator, or I can go to a specific user. Within that specific user's email tree, then I can then decide to create a new folder. It could be NCI, for instance, Cloud Backup Restore. And that will actually restore the files to that specific folder within that user's email tree as well. I can actually go and just simply download it as well. In which case it will just perform a download of that mail. And as you can see here, it's just going to pop it into a folder here called Megan B. There it is here. And I can just open it up and it's hello Megan. So that was my search criteria. I want everything with hello in it. Again, it's an easy way of just for our partner, for instance, to perform a restore. The partner can give end users access as well. He can go in and create an account that just gives access to that customer's account, and they won't be able to see any other customer's account, and they'll have their own little cloud backup access area here with the username and password that the partner set up for them, and they'll be able to go in and do restores themselves if they so wish. With regard to the services, again, you know, you can not or untick any services that you're not using back here, because otherwise you will come up with error messages, etc. And the whole concept is that if I had a user like Adele V here and she has left the company, I want to stop backing up the following user. As I said earlier on, she is now not going to be backed up from today. She just left the company today, for instance, but her data will be there indefinitely if we wish to access it as the company. Over here is your authentication. So it means here that you have set up your authentication for Office 365, where you added the service, again, using the username and password that you set up at the back end of Office 365. And there's your SharePoint URL that you add as well. And then you can automatically add new Office 365 users. It just means then as new people join the company, this is not a manual process. You can automate this, that they're automatically going to be added to the system and indeed backed up. So that's just a quick, if you like, flying view of what we do with our StorageCraft cloud backup. Back here under settings is where I would add the user, where they go into the partner portal to see their account, for instance. And I can set up my warnings and notifications as well, and I can just separate them with a comma and set up as many users that I want to have receive any kind of warnings or notifications from the back end of the product itself. So that kind of concludes my overview of cloud backup. So if there's any questions, I'm quite happy to take them now.
Thank you, John. As yet, we haven't got any questions that have been added into the questions and answers pod. So if anybody's got any questions that they'd like to type in, please do, and either John or myself will answer those for you in a second. Whilst we're giving you a minute or two to do that, I'd just like to thank John for giving us that little bit of insight there about StorageCraft's moving to the Google platform, and it was really nice naming convention there with Phoenix. How are the team getting on with this migration at the moment? I'm guessing it's a fairly major project for you.
It's huge. We've done so, and I just reference Europe and the UK simply because that's relative to what we're doing here. But they've actually completed it in America. So this product is already sitting in the Google Cloud platform in the US and working extremely well. So we're in the process of having to migrate everything over there on this side of the Atlantic. And again, you know, I foresee that this is going to be a very streamlined, very slick solution, especially when we're going to be accessing, you know, all of the Google APIs as well within the cloud. There are going to be some extraordinary features that we're going to add at some point down the line. As an example, for instance, and I'm not talking about Office 365 at this point, but for instance, if you could imagine a machine going down on site and then automatically a virtualized machine coming up in the cloud, and you just set up a VPN to it, for instance, but it will happen automatically, for instance. So things like this, there's kind of features that are, you know, really going to kind of broaden the scope of the products when they go into that Google Cloud, because of the technology that we're building our solutions on now under gRPC cloud services, microservices, should I say. So it's really going to add an interesting component to all of our services when it goes into the Google Cloud. Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting and making an already very, very good product even better. It's a product that we use in-house, and it's got us out of a few problems over the time that we've used it, with different members of staff leaving and things like that. So I'd highly recommend it to all of our attendees and all of our customers. At this point, I'm going to thank John for providing the webinar for us, as we've not had any questions in the questions and answer box yet. Thank you all for attending, and we will email all of the attendees shortly with a link to watch this on our YouTube channel. And as the last slide says, Happy Christmas from both NCI and StorageCraft. Have a great year.
Okay, thank you very much for hosting this for us, James, and indeed Joanna. And it was it's lovely doing business with NCI as well and our partners. And you know, let's hope for everybody it's a nicer 2021, right?
Let's hope so. Thanks very much, John. Really appreciate that one, mate.
Not at all. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to everybody. God bless. Bye now.